takes dedication and mindfulness to learn the ceremony. And several members of the male community help prepare Anagarika Nicholas, including some people that aren't here tonight. And as you heard, the last recitation that Anagarika Nicholas did, he's asking for guidance from me as his preceptor, but also from the Sangha, and in this sense, I really feel that the word Sangha is really community, not Bhikkhu Sangha, but the community. It's not just one person that we're learning from. We're learning from community. That's what makes this place, or these types of places. It's for me and for many people I know that have taken up community life. Solitary life is preferable on one level. For instance, myself, I lived alone for many years as a layperson, and I really did well in terms of I was very relatively content. My Dhamma practice was steady in terms of I was applying myself, dedicated, diligent. Didn't feel lonely or anything like that. But I could kind of do what I want when I want, and I didn't have also this type of support around me all the time. It meant a lot of driving up and down the M1 to Amaravati, or coming down here from time to time for various things, and putting ourselves into community. There's a routine, there's a schedule, there's the precepts, but then there's all the other monastic form that we need to pick up. And we're not just getting what we want when we want, and there's great power in that. Great. I'll use the word I've used several times, I think already, opportunity. Each time we meet, maybe we have a desire for something, and then we can't, that's something we're not able to do here, whatever that is. And right there's this opportunity to see that, feel that, and to also transcend that. And maybe we're using the phrase letting go, but just also letting flow, letting that impulse, that desire to flow. We don't need to fight with it. We don't need to fulfill it. We learn how to be content, or edging towards contentedness, transcending liking and disliking. So or there's something in monastic life that we're really, oh wow, I just really like that, but then maybe we go to another community, and maybe go to stay in another monastery, and maybe their routine is different. Precepts are the same, of course. A lot of the routines or schedules are often very similar. But maybe we go to another community, and there's what we really liked here, and it isn't done in that place. And then that's that opportunity to see, this is liking and disliking. And there's nothing in these rule books that says we need to like everything. There's nothing in the Dhamma that says we need to like everything. Who can like everything? And if that's the way we're living, and that's what I found the big difference, and also speaking to many people during my time in monastic life, living. I've always lived in quite big, good-sized communities. I've not lived in small communities. I've lived with many other monastics, and just comparing notes too. It's just. When I lived before, I could set things up as comfortable as possible. And I don't mean like cozy comfortable necessarily, but just the way I want it. And I'm just so grateful, and so many people I know are grateful that to be able to practice in this way, to live with the support systems, the support of community, coming together. I generally prefer to be on my own. So this is really, really good for me to be living in community like this. And so here again, I don't want to use. I'm hearing the word "me" a little bit too much, so I'm going to move on from that. But for all of us, each and every one of us, whether we're in a monastic community or we've just come here for the evening, or we're living here as a guest or a long-term lay resident, whatever time commitment we have, be it an hour or be it a lifetime, is that there's this opportunity. And as I was briefly mentioned it at the breakfast reflection, is that we have these structures, we've got all of this, but now what do we do with it? What do we do with it? And that's where that sustained or application to using these opportunities. Now, does that mean that it's completely even and we never have peaks and troughs? Of course not. There's peaks and troughs. There's days and weeks and months, maybe even years where we're more inspired, more energetic, more whatever. Maybe on that kind of rise, sort of those peak moments. And there's the same, a day, a week, a month, a year, maybe where things are really challenging. And so, but when we make those, when we see the potential, the benefits, and that goal of that the Buddha showed the way, that unshakable, unconditional peace. And so to not lose sight of that potential as a human being, and whether we're in robes or not, but that potential of as human beings to realize that peace which is beyond liking and disliking. It's beyond happiness and sadness. So that's why I tend to stay away from. I'm not criticizing it or saying it's wrong, but the phrases of the supreme happiness or the happiness of Nibbana, I feel from my own the way my mind works is because sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're not. The Buddha is, as at least what we're handed down in the text. I mean, there were times where what's in the text, he doesn't sound very happy in that moment. When he's scolding a monk, or packing up in his bowl and robes and taking off because the community was squabbling. But what we understand is that he was at peace. There was this supreme peace. He was able to hold all experience balanced. So it was this unconditional peace, a peace not based on conditions, not based on things being a certain way. Now, of course, in the community life, these communities are set up to be as supportive as possible. We don't want to intentionally create discomfort or any sort of dissonance. No, it's really, we really try hard. We cultivate harmony, cultivate friendliness, and so many. I mean, long list of qualities that we cultivate to make this livable. But community is community. We have in the community, this rains retreat coming up, the monsoon season rains retreat, we're going to be at least, if everybody turns up who's currently saying they're going to be here will be at least 22 members of the monastic community. And then you add in, a good 10 or 12 lay guests and 1 or 2 lay residents. We're talking about, sort of 35 people. Every personality different moods, different days, and we nurture and nourish harmony and understanding. So, but it can't remain even, perfectly even. And so, and I personally, I think that's good. There's that story, and hopefully I'm not misquoting it, but when Luang Por Sumedho many years ago, he went to Thailand and to pay respects to Luang Por Chah was still alive, and he went to pay respects to Luang Por Chah and give a report, because this community had been established, so to give a report to Luang Por Chah how it was going, and I'm paraphrasing here obviously because I wasn't there and I haven't read the account in the books recently, but apparently Luang Por Sumedho was really saying giving this very glowing report about how many monks were ordaining and practicing well, how many women were joining the community and practicing well, and how the communal harmony between the two genders and the lay support was really giving a very glowing report. And Luang Por Chah responded something approximately like, kind of grunted, what kind of wisdom are you going to gain living with people like that? Or what kind of wisdom are you going to develop living with people like that? Something along those lines. And the expression I like, I've used it many times, so forgive me for using it again, but smooth seas do not make a good sailor. Smooth seas do not make a good sailor. Now, backtracking about 3 minutes, let's keep working on communal harmony. Don't think, okay, let's rough it up a little bit. So there's enough. And there's enough in life. I'm not just talking about communal harmony, it's just, just in life, the sea of life. There's enough, so we cultivate it. I really admire, just how much effort this community does put in, and the results of that, and just really cultivating really good conditions, really wonderful conditions, I think, for practice. And then, of course, the material support that we get from the lay community is just mind-boggling. The 4 requisites: food, clothing, medicine, and shelter. And then to add on to that, kindness. It's not listed in the 4 requisites because it's not one of the requisites, but all the kindness and attention that this community, this flow between the monastic community and the broader community. So when the wind blows, when things aren't so smooth, and then, oh wow, I think sometimes we can learn more from also not getting what we want. Maybe we ask for something, as a permission to do something, or we want something to happen. Sometimes I think that in terms of Dhamma, maybe that's those lessons are often, I think, the more fruitful. Because getting what we want is pretty easy in terms of experiencing that. Getting, the experience of getting what I want is very different from the experience of not getting what I want. But can we be equally equanimous? Can we hold it equally? Doesn't mean we don't feel it. No, can we actually feel that disappointment? Feel that sense of or loss or whatever? Really feel it. If anything, feel it more clearly, but remain balanced and whole. And so monastic life in general offers us this chance. But because this night is about somebody joining the monastic community, Anagarika Nicholas, and I really appreciate how he prepared himself for this. And I mentioned that other people were involved, so much gratitude to everybody who was. So, I find it supremely inspiring that people want to do this. I'm just sharing my personal feeling around that, and of course, I take my role seriously. That as the preceptor, there's a responsibility there, which that I don't feel a burden. I feel a great joy in being a part of other people's lives in this way, and also, as was pointed out, those last phrases, asking for guidance from the Sangha, and so I encourage the rest of the monastic community to really contemplate that, and to where you can, where we can, really help to support each other, not just new member, but support each other in this endeavor. So close the reflection there, and just offer my good wishes to Anagarika Nicholas in your entry, and please apprise yourself of me as your preceptor and teacher, and also they're not here right now, but we have Anagarika novice mentors. And we always make sure that other people are available. So please don't hesitate to reach out to those people around you. That's community life. That's what you signed up for, amongst other things. So sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we've already chanted the verses of sharing an aspiration. We can close the evening with the closing homage in Pali and English. And for those of you who don't know it, it's on page 16 in the dark brown volume of the two chanting books. So.